All right, welcome for a Canadian Patriot Review podcast. I'm really happy to have with me today Dr. Jessica Rose, who has distinguished herself in very many fields, but especially in the last couple of years. She's become a voice of reason, a light within the darkness, and a courageous figure who has showcased a penetrating ability to analyze bullshit, or at least cut through bullshit and look towards where intentions actually reside behind the surface of expert opinions and consensus views about how you should conform to the norms of society that we're told we have to abide by, despite the fact that those norms might be absurd as all sin. So just as a little bit of a disclaimer, there is a bit of a lag, bit of an internet issue. If people watching detect that, we are super sorry, can't help it, but we're going to do our best. Dr. Jessica Rose, just to be quick, thank you for taking the time. I'm going to just say quickly that you are, I'm just going to read through your qualifications here and then some. Dr. Rose has a postdoctorate in biochemistry and molecular biology, master's degree in immunology, bachelor science in applied mathematics, and is just generally a very, very, very insightful person who, I mean, I would just ask, do you think that your multidisciplinary experience gave you an edge to be able to see through bullshit in the last couple of years? Or do you find that that's something which just sort of came naturally, that you would have been able to sort of detect even if you didn't have all of that work behind you and under the belt?
Wow, what an awesome question. First of all, I'm really honored to be here, and I'm glad that I emailed you and that you answered so fast, because this is going to be super fun. Yeah, and thanks for the intro. I love that question because I think, no, I think it's probably just my rebel. It's weird that I've been a waitress to put myself through school, and I've been like a student, a permanent academic student. And I've never really fit in. I don't have like an enormous publication list, and I don't have my own lab, which, most people would have by now, because I've kind of been like, on the outskirts of the academic world, because of who I am, because I'm a little bit of a rebel, a weirdo. So I think that's what kind of brought to the attention of the, what's the word? The tension between what we were being told and what I was actually seeing, the dissonance, they weren't like lining up. And it was the background that allowed me to actually do something about it in a real way. Because it's like viruses, immunology, math, data. Wow, look at that convergence. Isn't that nice? So I don't know. Some people say it's, destiny, or the universe wants me to do this, or however you want to see it, but it sure does align. I mean, there isn't one degree program that I did that doesn't have a lot of pertinence in what I basically do every day. Like even the writing. I mean, all I'm really doing now is writing articles. Like I'm either reviewing peer-reviewed literature to make it little less annoying to read for people who might not have science backgrounds, and also kind of trying to figure out for myself, like, why in the context of adverse events occurring in as injuries to the shots, like, why are these things happening in some people and not others? So yeah, that was the long answer.
No, I had a feeling that was the case, and undoubtedly, yeah, the work that you did definitely gave you the muscles to be able to do some heavier lifting than you would have had you have just come at this thing as many people have. Just your world is actually the very opposite of what you thought it was. But thank God, and I've been following your Substack for some time, and I really appreciate the quantity and quality of simplification that you have put forth by being able to just analyze data that normally I wouldn't know where to start looking at the VAERS data, knowing even what I know, it's very difficult to think about how do you make sense of what do you look for, and you're able to package things together and give people a strong sense very simply. And it's for those who don't know, Unacceptable Jessica is your Substack name and easy to find. Very, very highly
I
recommended.
thank Trudeau for that name.
Yeah. The
Thanks.
muse. The Borg muse.
Yes.
Trudeau.
Yes.
Uh, so look, I guess before jumping into some of the work that you've been able to shed light on, I'm just curious a little bit more about at what point did you shift gears and realize that there was a big lie hanging over the great narrative that we were being given? What did you see that triggered you to sort of take a step out of the norm and start looking more critically at the data? Was it after the experimental material began to be flooded into our zeitgeist, or was it even a bit before that you were like, okay, things are still off about this narrative before the? Yeah, it was before that, eh?